Sadhguru, you spoke about this river of energy that people come to once they pass. So you said some people bounce back if their karmic body is such. Some people go through the river. Some people wait in the river. So what happens when you're crossing the river? What happens when you bounce back? What happens to the people that are in the river for some time? And also, could you speak about the Indian cultural example of this?
Well, if you bounce back, one will have a rebirth. If one dissolves in the river, like Pukita power, knock a hole in the head, I like that. Then you dissolve into the river, you become that energy. If you cross, you go to another realm where beings will hang on, depending upon the nature of who they are, what their qualities are, what is the dominant quality, that will play. If they're very joyful, they will become ecstatic. They're miserable, they become very miserable. Like this is being normally referred to as hell and heaven, but essentially what's happened is, your quality, because you have no discriminatory mind, it gets exaggerated. If you're joyful and peaceful, you become absolutely ecstatic and fantastic. If you're miserable, if you are carrying something with you, then you become other way. So how does anybody cross this river? One thing is, your shell must be subtle, so subtle that the dog doesn't bark. See, this dog is there everywhere. It is in the Native American culture, it's in Egypt, it is in Japan, it's in India, you know, Kala Bhairava is with the dog. Because dog is one animal around us who has the capacity to know when a being is exiting the body. You have heard about, I don't know, maybe not in this culture because dogs are all, become too domesticated. Otherwise, the street dogs in India, suddenly they start crying, howling. Then people become jittery, somebody in the street is going to die in the next 24 or 48 hours. Because once life starts seeping out of the body, dog is one animal which responds to it immediately. So that is why all these death-related deities have a dog, because they are the ones who bark and howl and remind that a life or a being is exiting the body and coming this way. So, if it crosses, it goes into very pleasant states or unpleasant states, both are possible. But whether it goes into pleasant or unpleasant states, dissolution has begun slowly. How slowly means time is not the same thing when you don't have a body. See, right now if you have a bad body, if you sit here for 15 minutes, already it feels like a lifetime. If you have a very good body, you've done enough sadhana and your body is in a good state, then 15 minutes is no problem. But if you sit here for 3 hours, body becomes suffering. If you had no body, no body at all, if I made you sit here for 1,000 years, what is the problem? So once you don't have a body, the time and the sense of time and the impact of time on you is very, very different. Your experience of time is only because of the cycles that the body goes through, or other bodies like the celestial bodies, like the planet and the moon and the sun go through. Otherwise, you have no sense of time. Some body, cycles are happening, that is why you have some sense of time. So, dissolution begins. One can cross this for various reasons. One thing is, because one has seen over 1008 or 1012 moons, that means they're 83 to 84 years of age. Because of that they crossed, because it's become… the bubble has become thin and the dog doesn't bark and it crosses. If the life is strong, dog will bark. If dog barks, there are people there who kick you back. So if you bounce back from the river, it is called rebirth. But if you cross the river and then you came back with a purpose, that is called an incarnation. Well, I've not spoken in these terms, I am an incarnation because consciously came back with a certain purpose. This is an incarnation. A rebirth means you bounce back from that energy place because your shell is still too thick, it's fit to be embodied, not fit to cross, so it bounces back. Or because of certain dimensions of life, because of certain type of work that one has done, you go into the river and dissolve right there. This is mukti, this is nirvana, this is permanent annihilation according to this. Otherwise, this is knock a hole in the head, pukita power, according to the Native American way of looking at it.
Namaskaram, Sadhguru. Nirvana and Mukti are things that we've only seen coming from the Indian culture. And here you're saying that they were doing energy sacrifices and cutting pranamaya kosha in a way beyond what is acceptable as ethics today. Did they also do this towards Nirvana and Mukti? Did they also share the same goal?
They're telling you there's a pukita power, she will knock a hole in your head and liberate you. But I'm only speaking from what I saw in one particular place. They're trying to build something. When I say build something, like we have spoken elaborately about this, we were trying to build the Dhyana Linga. We were willing to do anything to make it happen including to wanting, if necessary, to shed our own lives. Well, as you said, ethics and whatever, I have no ethics, but I have humanity. Out of my humanity, I wouldn't take another life. If it has to be, it would be mine. That's how it would be for me. Out of my humanity, not because of ethics, because ethics can be bent, morals can be bent and restructured any time it's inconvenient. But your humanity lives because that's your nature. That doesn't bend or take different forms because the situations change. It is the same thing always. So, they were trying to build something, we don't know what, most probably a powerful process or a powerful form for power or material well-being or victory in wars, something like that. It's not a spiritual possibility what they were trying to build, otherwise it wouldn't have ended like that. But something very ambitious they're trying to build. May not have full understanding of it, whoever is doing it, or might have started in one generation, the next generation did not grasp it and they brought it down. I don't know. These are social situations. We can do any number of guessworks, but we still do not know. But what happened in terms of energy happened, 100%. Socially, what was the situation? We don't know. Whether they had ethics, or maybe they had too many ethics and no skills, or they had skills and no ethics, we don't know. That's a judgment that we are trying to pass. I don't think we should pass a judgment on people who are long gone.